I'm doing a little bit more banjo studying. This is a tenor banjo, so it's tuned in fifths, the same as a viola, C, G, D, A. And so I have really short fingers, and I'm not really a guitar player. So I've looked up how tenor banjo players play chords, and I just don't have the fingers for that, at least not right now. So I've kind of been making my own chord forms, mostly by only playing 3 of the strings at a time. And I was just studying this tune that my friends and I play called I'll Be a Friend with Pleasure, and it has a lot of augmented chords in it, and so I just figured out a new chord form, which is what I'm going to show you. So it's in F, and after playing around with like a bunch of different places to play it on the neck, the most comfortable for me is to go from this F down to this C augmented. It says C7 augmented on the page, but I couldn't figure out a way to get all the important parts of the chord in there in one stroke. So I'm just making sure that the augmented 5th is in there, because I think that that's more important than having the 7th in the chord. So we've got da 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 da, and then we go up to D augmented, and then where do we go? G, ba da da da, ba, ba da da da. I also reminded myself that since I usually play with a bass instrument, I can like reharmonize some of these more complicated chords and just forget about the tonic. So instead of playing a whole G minor 7 flat 5, I can just play a B minor, and that's a little easier for me to do. Da, 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 da. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. Okay, one more thing that I just discovered. Previously I had been moving around the circle of fifths by sort of doing like a zigzag pattern. So like one of the first things I learned was like to play like C7, F7, B flat 7. So I learned to do this sort of like sort of motion, do to go around the circle of fifths. And then later I learned that this little triangle shape gives you a 7th chord without the sort of hassle of barring this. So I've been using this more frequently, but doing the same pattern, right? So going like and that's fine, but it's not as sort of pretty in terms of voice leading. You're sort of doing a lot of big jumps, and so what I just realized learning this other tune is that I can just move. If I'm like here and I want to resolve down a 5th, I can just move 2 of my fingers, which I had already known. I already knew that I could turn like a C chord into a C7 chord, but I didn't think about moving from a G7 to a C7 chord. And that's just exactly where the notes want to go. So now I can do something that's like way nicer, which is going like doing something like that, I think, because this is like basically the same as that. Like it has all the, I think it has all the notes, yeah, because this is here, And this note, well, maybe I have to look at it a little more. I feel like I feel like this is viable. Maybe I'm sacrificing a chord tone, but I have to look at it more closely. But now I've learned another thing. I just finished going through almost all the tunes that I had bookmarked in my trad jazz folder and playing them on banjo. I feel like I learned a lot more about how I want to play the instrument and just how to get around the neck with the sorts of chords and chord progressions that come up in the genre. So yeah, I was outside some of the time. It was really nice outside today, but I ended up just coming back in and playing a bunch. So that was great. All right, that's it for today. Bye.